Hi. I want to talk about the accident approximately 2 months ago, a month or two. It was surprising and it was strange. I had worked in the hospital. I had seen, the red fluid, the blood, but and I seen it at the Red Cross. I've seen it in the freezer, and it was weird because I had a knife. I wanted to slice open a pair of jeans, and accidentally, because I was too fast, I cut open my hand, and I could see the redness part. And then I had decided that I was prepared to go to hospital for stitches, but I know and I heard that you do not need stitches as long as you have all the sanitized supplies and and the wrapping uh, to stabilize, or using uh, a splinter. Splinter is a metal or plastic um, opposite usage of deformity. So it is a prevention of deformity to keep in place, inform how your human body anatomy, bones, skin, muscle group, veins, pulses, all in one in place. So what I did was first stop the bleeding by holding on top of my head, and then I had taped the wound and try to observe my body. It was surprising that my groin area was beginning to feel weak, but I did not want to panic. So I sat down on my couch, sofa, and then I had a heated patch. So it's a blanket, but it's a smaller size. I put in my groin area. I felt stronger. The heartbeat was faster, stronger. And I had to decide, do I want to perform some stitches or simply wait and see the next morning if the skin might be sealing up or attach again. So that's what I did. So from approximately 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock, I had to make some documentary, and this was the first splinter I was able to wrap myself so that I can relax, watch some TV, because the more you try to hold your muscle group and your finger joint in place, that the more you're using your strength. So what I want to do is just simply relax and hang the hand in on top of my near my legs area, or just on the sofa, and just watch TV and finish some reading. And the other side of the splinter usage, I had wrapped it around my watch timepiece so that it is stable and it would not rock up and down. And so I just relaxed and hung loose. So this is a splint. So splinter is basically anything that can hold the joint in place for complete healing without much scar or minimizing. So next, I knew that the hygiene at the hospitals, and to qualify this as a as professional as possible kind of medical uh, procedure or proceeding, without the intention of additional blood or additional deformity or additional joint displacement. So it is a completely logical and ethical and good-hearted kind of procedure to myself, of course, that it is a healing process. And this procedure was to use paper tape, wrap around the metal wire to make it more clean and rust-free, no rust kind of sleeping. So what I did was to sanitize some of the blood spill on my hand that had dried within an hour time or two, and then used cling wrap. So this is simply kitchen cling wrap, and tissue, not toilet paper, not the kitchen napkin, and not the top piece. So I had to skip a few square of toilet paper and use the inner part with mouthwash. The knife was the Western sharp knife, steak knife, and there was no rust. So that's what I did. I needed to sleep because if I was restless and sleepless for over 24 hours, my logical thinking might be threatened. So next day that happened at 6 o'clock. So by this time it was already 6 o'clock. Can we see the time? No. Well, no. And this is the kind of air inlet into the cut wound. So it is from the first square or parallelogram to this one. So the next morning, this part and this part, both ends, healed first. The middle was a deep cut, to say without any disgust. And it was 3 days process for the entire wound to heal. And let's not talk about the needle penetration that I tried, but for the record, the skin is a descriptive meaning that it is a dead skin after 2 years. After 2 hours or an hour and a half of air shut kind of plastic wrap. And I seen a picture here. Okay, so this is what I meant by dead skin. It looks white. It looks pale. That there is no blood circulation on the top layer of the skin. Let me see, and I had to write a journal on this. So let me see if I can show you the layer of the skin on right here. So on a medical standpoint, right here, the dead skin is up to the skin down white to solid pink, and then down to the tissue, and then the blue bloodstream and the green veins or nerves. Okay, so fortunately I had food and I had a sugary drink. Did you know that sugar is able to speed up your heart rate? And sugar, since a child years, is always a positive energy. Thanks to this department store, I was able to have stitches on standby for leather jacket. And the reason why I could not leave the apartment was because I have to safeguard some company data. in the process of assessment internationally. But Hong Kong is a very so I have to safeguard this. And then Hong Kong is a very fast-paced kind of traffic with traffic control and the police traffic control. And the nearest hospital is half an hour, and you will probably see a surgeon ready. So basically, that's what happened. I sent an email out to the Consulate General office. I said, I mentioned that I'm ready and I feel healthy, extra meaty, and for healing processes, food ready, drinks, food, nutrients, fruit, for approximately days. A few days, not DAZE, but DAYS days. And here was the actual redness, the dry blood. It only dripped on the floor a few drops. So right here, I had to clean everything. So the pictures got mixed up when I had stem chop. So the next morning, or 2 days after, that's the dead skin, and that's how I discovered how to remove tattoos. What I did the first day that really need medical attention and medical reports and documentation is that I had implemented the separated, isolated, individual body parts mechanism. So what it is that the respiratory system is where we breathe, and then there are, from the neck up, the head area, and then from the head area there's the independent growth of the ear loop and the ear mechanism and anatomy. And what it is that the hand, because of the way we sleep, and it is at the verge and the edge of the body, the human body, arms and legs. So what I needed is that a boost, or in America, excuse the word tweak, TWEEK, but it's a boost for extra blood flow and a circulation of blood flow contraption, that more blood is being force-feeded to the wound, to the cut wound. And alcohol is supposed to daze, DAZE, or stun a group of muscle or growth. So I had tried that because it was an open cut and I needed more blood in there. And keeping calm, and I feel off balance at the hand. I feel that definitely needed more blood contract in that area of the open cut, but I could not use a rubber band because that would be a proceeding that someone sleeping with the potential of unconsciousness, that you're not supposed to use a rubber band on a patient to contract the blood, other than the means of a eye open or signee that might give you permission for a rubber band, or contraption of the blood with the rubber band, or a tying rubber tube. So a one dosage of alcohol, it was a vodka or Chinese rice wine, I rotated. So both kind of alcohol distiller and brewery can get credit. So the alcohol was supposed to absorb by the nail gaps, the fingernail gaps. So it worked really well. My hand felt warm after the really strengthened alcohol absorbent implementation of medical proceeding. And going to sleep I could feel my hand looking red. So this is how I went to sleep. Was it swollen? Answer is yes. So that's the risk I took for the medical journal here. So you can see that my hand was red. So that was the intention, to contract more blood, to have a faster kind of healing process. Another reason why was because I was using a Neosporin for this. I was trying to clean off the blood, and the Neosporin ointment had dropped a drop inside the cut, so I had to use alcohol to sanitize and disinfect. So that's how it was. So the next morning I had thought about having this part, this end, and this end already in place and healing and stitched. Well, not stitched, but healed or closed up. The middle part I had decided to use paper clip and form kind of track, kind of like train track, like a track, kind of up and down across the wound, and use tape. And then for the picture purpose and for the hospital records, at Cedars-Sinai or USC Medical Center and Santa Monica area, UCLA, or the whole Blue Shield medical insurance group in the US, and the Potential Insurance and some Hong Kong hospitals, or the public hospitals and the WHO. I had hurried and asked a part-time staff to buy the bandage. There was the availability to buy kind of a needle and the seam. You can use dental threads, the seams. So that's an option. And with this, there is only one layer because you want it to breathe. If it doesn't breathe, you are going to get a bigger scar. And I had already previewed or pre-advised, or in American kind of slang, I called it. When this heal and seen the dead skin here, is basically going to be a under layer skin overcoming the top layer skin, and the top skin falls down. Next, with this neat picture, some was taken and sent out. So for sleeping purpose and not to have anyone sneak in my room or anything, so I had to put a paper bag, and then at the corner I had cut some holes to let it breathe. The key is that it has to breathe, because our skin is absorbent and it is needed. All right. So right here was approximately 3 to 5 days after, and the fact that there is glucose, or enzymes, one drip right there in the middle of the frame, right here, that one drip, it is a good signification and indication you're healthy and that there is good blood flow. And excuse my voice, the throat area, I had some extra onions today and I'm laying down talking. What else? For a shower, I simply had to wear gloves or use this and put a rubber band onto my wrist. Let's see what else I can tell you. Right here. This was from the painter tape to paint everything neatly. So that's what I had used. And it wasn't that much later to have a completed healing process of 13 days, 14 days, 15 days, 17 days total, that everything inside the muscle groups seemed completely reconstructed and normal. I did a video on this because the day of the joint or the muscle group being cut, I had to ignore the light bleeding and shown the flexibility after the cut wound, and then reflect on it. So the dietary, so every single hospital institution in this world and internationally recognized has nutritionists. The nutritionists not only work on the canteen food, the canteen food recipes and menu, but also on the patient's detoxification. So detoxification is after you had some kind of intoxication, you have a detoxification dietary. So sadly, I ate one chicken egg, 2 or 3 days after, and I could see that it was swollen, so I had to drink extra tea. So red tea, black tea, green tea, Chinese tea, Indian tea, any kind of tea has some kind of oxidants that requires your body for extra attention at your stomach acid. So you had your regular stomach acid amount, and you are able to use it for your entire body kind of blood circulation. But if you drink tea, your stomach acid will be more focused to digest the tea, the oxidant. So you have to think about that. Excuse me, you have to think on that, ponder on that topic. So this was a really strange way of rapping while you're at your desk writing. But when you're ready to sleep, this was the rapping. So from this to this. Alright? And this is given that there's no open window. Absolutely no open window. You have you own a humidifier, dehumidifier, air conditioner, fan outwards, so a air outlet, all right, to the street to keep your oxygen level and the carbon monoxide. And for the record, I smoked a few cigarettes or drink, and plus drinking Coca-Cola, because when you do those two or eat more food color dye, but food color dye, if it is raw, you might get skin allergies. So what I did was Coca-Cola and a few tobacco cigarettes, so that more oxidants and monodioxide. So there's carbon monoxide from breathing out, and then there's monodioxide from the spark and smoke. And what it is that the monodioxide from the cigarettes will have more intoxicants, and your bloodstream is supposed to push it out to your open cut wound or your nails or your hair or your eyelashes and eyebrows, excuse me, but earwax and things. So mostly it was a push for the fingers so that I get a faster scab. So that's risk that I had taken, and I have a really light color scar. I had never seen a perfect healing seam. So we don't know yet if it was a good comparison. So that's for the hospitals. I think that's it. So I had decided not to use stitches, but if you did, you simply have to watch out and be careful of your dietary. So for the popularity of cosmetic surgeries and plastic surgeries, and newly the Spaniards, so the Spain citizens, are very much interested and documenting the Spanish dietary on the surgery. So what it is Chinese might prefer plain soupy white rice and no tea, because tea has oxidants, intoxicants. The oxidants is basically light, mild, very lightweight monodioxide. So because the tea leaves have to dry and then turns brown if you flush the hot water or just shake a bottle of tea. The tape still rolling? Yeah, the tape is still rolling. So the tea, it's considered a no-no for absolutely not for wounds. And apples have apples have iron, excuse me, and magnesium. So whatever apples that you might see turn brown, or potatoes, you're not supposed to eat it if you have plastic surgery. So this is extra information for the Spain documentation, the Spanish, that on TV I'm able to see that they're more interested in documenting more on the plastic surgery before it commonized, or before the Spanish insurance companies want to work on this fundings. And in the European nations, Bixit and EU, they are more on a documentation of citizens' happy ratings. So that's another thing. This is supposed to be a material for wound healing and surgery, so we don't know what part this is. Right here, any medical surgery is supposed to have cloth covering all the other body parts, so that you're only dealing with one skin muscle group, and this happened to be a veterinary. So it is for a pet or poultry or a dog. So next, there is the healing process and completely healed. So it was a few days of experience, and it happened to be the Notre Dame accident, Notre Dame Cathedral. What else? So remember, highlight, it was the implementation of blood clogging attempt of a contraption of blood onto my palm for the healing process. Let me see if I have a better picture. Well, that's it, I think. Right now I can show you the cut wound healing process as shown. Let's see. These are my scatter files. How does it look now? Looks good. It doesn't have much. So you can see. So this is how it looks after many days. 15, 16, 17 days. That's all. So white. Oh, the tape is still rolling. Let me see if I can have the wound shown. Oh, I can have my hand here. Right here. So this is after approximately 2 months, and the flexibility remains. So if you can see the cut wound, one line across. Alright, that's all. Thank you. And this is mainly for the WHO and whatever medical institutes and hospital institutions and medical groups and insurance groups records that it is totally okay if you keep calm and have phones and everything for your own first aid care at a adult age of 39 and a half now. And this is Hong Kong ID Z4052226A. United States California driver license is B for Benjamin 6722136. And this was the biology and biochem medicines study information. So in the whole biology and focus is including these kind of seeds and sprouts. And this is just my life here, not very glamorous, and just simply hopefully useful and resourceful. And here is another one of my website right here. So my company name is Hatstone Concepts International. I have a personal design lab registries. So it is a global design for cars and mechanicals and literature and films. So hopefully everybody can enjoy these, and I am in responses with Action Star, the Jackie Chan films companies. All right. So hope everybody can appreciate the experience that I had on keeping calm if there's not too much blood spill. Excuse me again. And you have to put your open cut wound on top of your head. If you allow me another moment, I have a book. And this is a part of my study at here. And with your blood circulation is that 1/5 or 1/10 of your body weight is fluid. So whether it is your bloodstream, your urine, or your stomach acid, completely 1/10 of your body total weight is fluid. And it goes from your heart, up from your neck, coming back down to your face, spread. Okay? Okay.